Part of the way we are as men, and my book Conscious Men, it's really a whole exploration for men, but also women, to understand men, is to go deeply into these qualities of masculinity. And the number one quality of masculinity is to feel successful. That's what we want. And you can just have a guy watching a football game, and if his team wins, his testosterone is off the chart. Sex is going to be great that night. If the team loses, it's going to go down. It's success because he's identifying with his team. But the idea here is that the more successful a man feels, the more he will bond with her. And it's her responsiveness to him that is what makes him feel successful. And so the responsiveness would be, there's so many little things you can do. Women, just as the little things a man could do, like affection and compliments and planning things and being interested and asking questions of you. Those are little things that a man can do that make a woman feel special and important, complimenting her and so forth. Unfortunately, most men don't know those skills, that the little things make a big difference. But I'm turning it around now, and most women don't know the little things that make a man bond with you. And it's these little messages again, that say he's successful. So what would that be? Here's 3 things you can practice. The takeaway from today is one of them. Is a guy's talking and you ask him a question, he says something. Before you go into too much information, you then always acknowledge him from the point of view of, that makes sense. That's one magic phrase. You'll see a guy go, oh yeah, what did I say? That makes sense. Another one is, oh, good idea. Oh, good idea. And you got to put a little bit of that femininity in it, and which men can't do for each other. Men are like starving for appreciation. Men are competing with other men all the time. Our whole lives is pecking order, competition, getting ahead. And, if I open the door for another guy, he walks in and gets the job. If I pass the ball to him, he gets the touchdown, he gets the glory. If I compliment him, then, somebody says, who did this? Well, my partner, Bob, did this. And Bob's going to go, yep, I worked really hard to accomplish this goal. And I just gave away the possibility of me getting the advance or the raise or the recognition or the opportunity. Whereas women don't understand this, because women have a code. It's all different perspectives. Women have a code. If I'm a woman and I say, oh, Mary did this. She did such an amazing job. She stayed up late and she did this and she handled this. And we could have never done it without her. Mary has to follow the rules, and the rules are, but Jane, you did this and this and this, and you did this and this and this. And that's because women will bounce back and forth, but because inclusiveness is an estrogen quality. And estrogen is what lowers women's stress. So women have all kinds of values around inclusiveness, but men, estrogen doesn't lower our stress. It can actually raise our stress if it's too much. See, it's all interesting. No hormone is bad for you. It's just how much, when, and so forth. So estrogen's a good thing for men. If their testosterone's too high, boom, it's just like, oh, I get to relax. I get to enjoy feeling love. When you feel love, your estrogen levels are going up and your oxytocin is being produced. If your testosterone is too high, it kind of lowers it down. And that's why what happens for women is, all these little expressions of affection, they're the big oxytocin stimulators that help lower stress for women, because they lower their testosterone and their estrogen can go up higher to its normal level to restore normal estrogen production. Now, it's interesting. You can measure women's estrogen levels today, and they could be too high. And I'm over here saying that estrogen lowers stress for women. And that's because we have something called artificial estrogen, which is in all the pesticides, all the GMOs, all the plastics. They have these ingredients in them, chemicals in them, that when they get into your body, these are man-made chemicals, that the body recognizes and thinks it's estrogen. So suddenly now you've got estrogen being, the brain going, oh, I've got plenty of estrogen. So then the body stops making its own estrogen. And it's being in that mode of making estrogen that a woman gets this stress reduction. Otherwise, she doesn't feel like she has to do those things to make estrogen. It's a little bit complicated understanding, but the body thinks I've got plenty of estrogen, then it stops motivating her to do the things that would make the estrogen. So woman's body knows that I need estrogen to feel good. Okay, what causes me to make estrogen? Loving people, appreciating people, opening my heart to people, being emotional, all these things that I need to go there to feel that. Well, suddenly, if you've got an outside source of estrogen, then you no longer feel motivated because you've already got it. It'd be like, if I'm hungry for food and I'm looking for food, but then I get food, I'm satisfied for a while. I get the benefit of food, but I lose the motivation to get food. And all of our social behavior is based upon, on a biological level, certain motivations that will make us feel good. So women are not naturally motivated to be more loving, for example. That's what's happened to a lot of women who are in their 40s, is they spend a lot of time in the world of testosterone, and that lowered their estrogen levels, and testosterone raises stress for women. And they're being exposed to all of these xenoestrogens, they're called. And so they haven't felt in their younger years a stronger motivation to be in relationship. And when they get in relationships with guys, it's kind of like, it doesn't do it for me. I'm not really that involved with him. That's one side of it. Then there's the other side of it where you can get very needy because you've been suppressing your feminine. So either sides, there's all this hormonal imbalance. Men have hormonal imbalance too. These xenoestrogens are keeping men's testosterone levels low. So we are hungry for messages that say we're a success, more so than in previous generations. So this is where, sometimes women hear what I say and they say, oh gosh, just sounds like men are on a big ego trip. I need to support their ego. And just hold this in balance. We're different. Men need more testosterone, so you acknowledge what they do, which often looks like ego, and that is ego. But women have ego. It just doesn't look that way, because women are not so much like, look at what I do. It's look at who I am, how I feel, what I need. She wants hugs, she wants affection, she wants romance, she wants dates. Guys that don't understand women are thinking, God, women are so needy. So men think the women are needy. Women think men are egotistical. No, women are more aware of their needs. That's a quality of estrogen. And men are more aware of what they want, and that's a quality of testosterone. And what we want is to be accomplished, to achieve, to make a difference, and that's called success if we simplify it. So these three little takeaways: good idea. Another one is, that makes sense. Another one is, you're right. You nod your head, you're right. That's true, that's true. And then give a point of view from your perspective. And if you disagree with him, you can always say, well, that makes sense. I also have a different point of view, and you say it. You don't have to submit your authenticity to a man, but you don't dump anything on him. And dump is what I mean by complain to him. This is a big, now we're in the stage of, you're in a relationship and then things aren't working the way you want every day. And so women have a tendency to sort of say everything they feel about a guy. And we don't want to hear negativity. You don't want to hear negativity. Nobody wants to hear negativity. So I'm not telling women, gee, you can't tell your feelings and he can, or something like that. I'm just saying that, particularly in a relationship, it's like you're on a job interview. In a job interview, they always say, what's your biggest weakness? And so what do you say? It's a standard routine. I think my biggest weakness is I give too much. I work too hard. I don't get enough rest at home.
Right.
That's the biggest weakness. You don't say, I'm lazy. I don't get things done. I get too angry at people. No, you don't do that. Okay, come on now. So, and women, you're the masters of makeup. I mean, you're always making yourself look good, look good, look good. Then you get on a date with a guy, not all of you, but some of you, and you just start blasting him. You're like, well, I don't think you ought to do this. And what do you think about that? Well, I disagree with that. And, there's just this huge sort of, I'll say what I think and how I feel. That's not what a relationship is about. A relationship is about being authentically loving. It's being authentic, but also working at having tact. How do I communicate what's going on inside of me in a way where it can be heard? Because whenever you communicate anything inside of you and somebody can hear it, you're going to feel greater intimacy. That's what we're all wanting, is to feel connection. But if you communicate what's inside of you in a way where someone can't hear it, you're not going to experience that intimacy. It's like trying to walk through a wall. You're not going to make through it. And some women have the idea that, well, if I'm loved, they should hear everything about me. I should be accepted everything. And yes, that's true. But at the same time, you have to recognize that certain things can't be heard. Human beings have limitations, and criticism, complaining about your partner, are giving message that sounds like you're complaining about your partner, and you're saying to them, you're not good enough. Nobody wants to hear it, not just men. Women don't want to hear it either. So what do? When you need something more, you ask for it. You don't back it up with complaints. You know, hey, would you do this next time? Would you pick me up next time like this? Or would you do this for me as a favor? Would you do this for me? You know, it's requesting things, not demanding things. If you're upset, now this is really important for women to get. Whenever you're upset with a man, and let's say you're saying, I only asked. If you're upset with a man, it means you're not happy with him. Put it simple. I'm not happy with you. I want you to do this. Would you do that? Now, those are all the right words, except I'm not happy with you. But just the tone of voice says to a man, he has failed. Now, you're asking for more, and you're telling him what he's done already is not good enough. Now, you think in your mind, saying to somebody, you're not good enough, give me more, is a reasonable thing. From a man's point of view, why should I give you more if you haven't appreciated what I've given you so far? I'll just say that again. Why should I give you more if what I've done, which is my best, is if this is not good enough, why would I bother? And just think about this for a moment. Go into the man's world of success and testosterone, and I'm going to a job, and the job really doesn't pay. Now, payment is a need that we all have, but payment is also the recognition that you succeeded. You know, people pay me more, I feel more successful. It's a natural thing. So I go to a job and they don't pay me. And I keep going back. I would have to be stupid to keep going back to a job that doesn't pay me. And then they're now asking me to work more hours. Are you kidding? I'm not going to do that. So if you want to ask more from a man, you always have to only ask for more when what you're getting is good enough. And I know that doesn't make sense right away, but the flip side of it also I explained is that why would you go to a job that wants more from you when they don't even pay you for what you're doing? So what it means is to find love in your heart. And it's hard for women today to find love in their heart. They can feel their need for more. Okay, neediness for more is not necessarily love. It's gratitude, it's love. Gratitude is saying, gosh, I have what I need. And but love is a confusing thing because, oh gosh, in the mind, it works really fast. It kind of goes, if you just gave me everything I need, you're the perfect man for me. I remember once being with a woman and I said to her, if you just didn't drink, you'd be perfect for me. Would you just stop drinking? It just seems so easy for me because I didn't drink. Okay, so it's just like, hey, just give up drinking. Well, that was a big stopper for her, I'll tell you. It was a major makeover for her. And she wasn't the right person for me, clearly. But the point I'm making there is that we make these requests of others because it just seems so easy for us, maybe not so easy for them, because we really do have these different needs and different motivations and different ways to cope with the stress of our lives. And one of the great things, if you can do, we can just stand back for a moment and recognize how can you make a man feel successful. Those little phrases, that's always helpful. Not demanding, that's always helpful. But the real key thing is to truly experience that he is successful in providing something that's meaningful to you. And this is a real profound, this is not fake. It doesn't fake. It's just like, it's like whether he's conscious of it or not, there's a reality. Do I truly make a difference in your life? And if I'm not making a difference in your life and in your mind, you're going, I just want to get him and then I'll get my difference. It's not going to sell. It doesn't make him bond to you. He needs to really feel the truth. And you need to really experience the truth inside of you that this guy makes a difference in my life. So there's a real felt appreciation for what he has to offer. Without that, men don't bond.